Okay, so today we learned about ellipses, the conic ellipses. So in each of these, I've given you an equation and you have to come up with the critical values and draw it. So if you're given x squared divided by 36 plus y squared divided by 9 equals 1, remember that for an ellipse, it always has to equal 1. So if it's equal to 1, then it's in our standard form, and we can take away the center and we can take away the two major and minor axes. So in this particular one, we know that the center is going to be at 0, 0 because it's x squared, it's not x minus something, and it's y squared, not y minus something. And we know that A is going to be equal to 6 and B is going to be equal to 3 because this is A squared is 36 and B squared is 9. So that means that when I graph 0, 0, since it's 6 spaces underneath the x variable, then we are going to go 6 spaces on the x direction. So horizontal is going to be your major axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then in the y direction, we're going to go 3 in the vertical. So we count 3 up and 3 down. The minute we have our points, then we can draw our ellipse. Now, since it asks the major axis is going to be the x-axis and the minor axis is going to be the y. And that is because the major axis x had the bigger number underneath it. 36 was bigger, so that meant that it was 6 spaces to the right and left and 3 spaces up and down for our minor axis. So the endpoints of our major axis are going to be at -6, 0 and +6, 0. And our minor axis are going to be 0, 3 and 0, -3. The axes of symmetry are going to be x equals 0 and y equals 0. Those always come from your center. Whatever the x coordinate of your center is, it's x equals that. And whatever the y coordinate of your center is, it's y equals that. And those are your two axes of symmetry. An ellipse will have 2 of them because you can either fold this ellipse hamburger style or hot dog style, meaning folding horizontal or vertical, and you will get the same thing on the other side. All right, number 2, our center is going to be at 0, 0, and A in this case is equal to 2 and B is equal to 4. So that makes our major axis actually the y-axis this time. So underneath the x variable was 4, which means that A was 2 spaces in the x direction and then 4 spaces in the y direction. And so that means that this one opens more taller than it does wider. And so your major axis is the y-axis and your minor axis is the x. So endpoints of the major are going to be 0, 4 and 0, -4. And our minor axis are going to be 2, 0 and -2, 0. And our axes of symmetry again are x equals 0 and y equals 0. Number 3. Again, it's equal to 1, just like the last one on the one before it, so you don't have to do anything to get it ready. Our center is now at 2, 1. Remember that it's opposite inside parentheses. So if it says -2, it's +2. If it says -1, it's +1. So 2, 1, we're going to go ahead and plot that. Underneath the x would be 6 spaces, and underneath the y would be 9. Remember that's a squared and b squared, and a and b tell us how many spaces left and right. So the square root of 36 is 6. That means underneath the x, we're going to go 6 spaces to the left, and we are going to go 6 spaces to the right. And then we're going to go 3 spaces up and 3 spaces down. Now, because it's opening more horizontal than vertical, your horizontal axis is your major axis and your vertical axis is your minor one. So this is going to be x and y. So our endpoints for our major axis are going to be 4, -4, 1, and 8, 1. And then for our minor axis, it's going to be 2, 4, and 2, to negative 2. Now your axis is symmetry, you got two of them. You have x equal to 2, that's because of the x coordinate right there, and y equal to 1. So if I were to fold this in half, I would fold it in half this way at x equals 2, or this way at y equals 1. Okay, on the back. Notice on the back, we are not equal to 1. So in order to get that equal to 1, we have to divide everything by 36. Okay, so we're going to divide all the pieces by 36 so that that will then make this equal to 1. And when we do that, this is going to become 1/9 and this is going to become 1/4. So the simplified equation is going to be x minus 4 quantity squared divided by 9 plus y plus 2 quantity squared divided by 4 equals 1. Okay, so 9 over 36 reduces to 1/4. And 4 over 36 reduces to 1/9. All right, so the center is at 4, negative 2. Remember, it's opposite, so negative 4 means it's going to be positive 4, and positive 2 means it's going to be negative. So I'm going to go ahead and graph that, 4, negative 2. And then underneath the x-axis, we have 3, which would have been squared to make 9, and underneath the y-axis, it would have been 2 to make 4. So we're going 3 spots in the x direction and 2 spots in the y direction, which is going to make this open more horizontal than it does vertical. So our major axis is going to be the x and our minor axis is going to be the y. Major axis endpoints is at 1, negative 2, and at 7, negative 2. And then your minor axis endpoints are at 4, 0, and 4, negative 4. Axis of symmetry, remember, it's your coordinates of your center. So x equals 4, and y equals negative 2. All right, number 5, we need that to equal to 1, so we're going to divide by 144. So we divide everything by 144. When we do that, 16 divided by 144 is actually 1/9, so this is x minus 3 squared divided by 9 plus y minus 1 quantity squared divided by 16, because 9 divided by 144 is 16, equals 1. So your center is at 3, 1. So go ahead and plot that. And then the number underneath the x-axis is 3, and then so we're going to go 3 spaces in the x direction, and we're going to go 4 spaces in the y direction. So that makes this one open more vertical than it does horizontal. So your major axis is y and your minor axis is x. The endpoints for your major axis are going to be 3, 5, and 3, negative 3. And the minor axis endpoints are 0, 1, and 6, 1. Okay, axis of symmetry are x equals 3 and y equals